Yo, what's up, fanbase? It's your boy Blaze Hollow, coming at you again with a new What If. This time I'll bring you a story based on my own persona called What If Blaze Had Unlimited Blade Works. But I must say a few things before we can get started, which is this is not going to be like every other Unlimited Blade Works What If. This is going to be my own creative style because everyone's given me the ability to use any anime weapon from any series, so be expecting to see a lot of references. Also, I will do my best to not make him overpowered. I plan to actually make the story more about life and the bonds that you could make throughout your own journey. So I hope all of you will be okay with that. With all that said, please start that intro.
I honestly don't think you can become a hero.
People say that the world is filled with destiny. As soon as you are born, the path that you are meant to walk on is already chosen for you. What happens if someone who was born against the grain, going against the world and doing his own desires, and given the power of the Holy Grail itself to be able to tap into something that could never be controlled? Well, this is a story that will answer all of those questions. This will tell you the story about a man who had the greatest power, but also the greatest curse. Blaze, time for you to wake up. You're going to be late for school. I know it's your last day before summer vacation, but that doesn't give you the right to slack off and be late, so hurry up and get up. Blaze wakes up feeling groggy, hearing his mom yell for him from downstairs. Yeah, I get it, Mom. It's not like I've ever been late before. Even if I don't get up when you want me to, I'm always on time. Blaze rushes into the shower as he thought about what he was going to do this summer. He then gets out into the hallway and sees a family portrait of him and his mother. He then let out a deep sigh as he goes into his room to put on his school uniform. Who were you, and why did you leave us, Father? Where did you go? Why can't I find a trace of you anywhere? I don't have a face, I don't have a name, I got nothing. Hoping with becoming a hero, I will just end up finding you one day, so I can just ask you why you were never here. As he finished getting ready, he rushed downstairs and gave his mother a hug as he decided to go grab a bottle of orange juice out of the fridge. He then grabbed his backpack and rushed out the door, trying to get to school on time. But as he was running, he wasn't paying attention, just knowing that he had to get to his location as quickly as possible. As he then turned the corner, he was about to bump into some girl, but instead they both jumped back at the same time. She held out her hand like she was about ready to do something with it, as Blaze summoned a small dagger, ready to defend himself, but then when he realized what he was doing was wrong, he put it away. Blaze then takes a deep breath and actually tries to put on a calming smile. Sorry about that, you startled me. I promise you though, I'm not a threat and I will not hurt you. She was annoyed by what he just said to her as she shot a row of ice right at him, hitting Blaze right in the center of his chest with a blunt pillar of ice. If you think someone like you could actually hurt me, you truly do underestimate people around you. Blaze falls onto his back in surprise from the attack, but then quickly gets onto his feet and pulls out a white sword with a blue wrapping on the handle and a 4-pointed star on it. I really don't want to have to fight you, miss, but if I have to, I will defend myself, and in a battle of ice, I really think that I hold the edge over you. She gets ready to defend herself as well. Telling by how your power works, you work best with weapons, not ice, so tell me, how do you hold the edge? Blaze was about to answer that question when he noticed a digital clock hanging from one of the street lamps, realizing that he only had a few minutes to get to school on time. I would actually love to indulge you on that, but I actually have to get going or else I'm going to be late for class. If you want to seek me out to get answers to your question, my name is Blaze Hollow. What is yours? She smiled at him as she put her hand down. My name is Shoto Todoroki. You are truly interesting. I hope we run into each other again. As she ran past him, realizing that she had to get somewhere herself, Blaze turned around and saw her run off as he saw her long red and white hair flowing in the wind along with her gorgeous eyes. He didn't know why, but he was hoping that they would actually meet each other again. She was very interesting, was all that he said to himself as he heard the sound of a school bell ringing. Took off at top speed as he was able to actually make it to his classroom before the final bell chimed. But as he walked through the door frame, he actually tripped on something, which caused him to land right on his face next to the teacher's desk. The teacher then looked down from his desk to see Blaze on his face with everyone in the classroom laughing. Good for you to finally join us, Mr. Hollow. I thought that your reputation for perfectly being on time was going to be broken on the last day of school, but I guess for you, you got a miracle and was able to make it. So now, take your seat. Blaze finally gets up off the floor feeling a little bit humiliated and just goes straight to his desk. Sorry about that, teacher. I really didn't mean to cause any trouble. The teacher then stands up from his desk, putting his laptop on the corner of his desk, and then just gets up in front of everyone. Anyway, now that everyone's here, I was told by the school board that I should show you all different forms of careers that you could go into, but why bother? I know that all of you want to go into the hero course. Everyone got excited and started showing off their quirks except for two people, which was Blaze and one green-haired person who seemed to try to keep his head down the entire time. As a blonde, ashy-haired boy got up onto his desk and started making small explosions in his hands, revealing himself to be Bakugo. Hey, Teach, don't throw me in with these losers. They'd be lucky if they get to work under some kind of D-list hero in their future. But while he was boasting, he started to get a chill down his spine as he started to look back and see that there was a blade to his throat. Blaze just started laughing as he pulled the blade away from Bakugo's throat. You shouldn't talk trash unless you can actually back it up, because if this was a real fight, you would already be dead. Everyone got a chill in the room, not seeing that Blaze got up from his desk, but when they look back, they see that he actually is still sitting in it. But there was still a version of himself behind Bakugo holding the blade at the same time. So you decided to use Lost Bane for this, the green-haired boy said as everyone turned their head to look at him, revealing himself to be Izuku. Blaze just smiled as his clone disappeared. It shows that your research on me definitely has been helping you, Izuku. Bakugo just gets angry as he starts charging at Blaze. If you think you can beat me like that again just because you're able to sneak attack me, you're wrong. Also, Blaze, doesn't it make you feel like a villain just because you're hiding in the shadows like that? Blaze just takes a deep breath as he stands up, watching his opponent run right at him. I truly do not see the difference between a hero and villain. They are just labels. Blaze then flips Lost Bane over to its flat side so he can attack without worrying. The teacher then stomped his foot on the floor as he yelled out at both of them. Enough of this, both of you. I swear if you continue this, I'll have both of you sitting in the principal's office and staying after school for detention even though this is your last day. Blaze got worried as he knew that if he went to the principal's office, his mother would be contacting. Not wanting to deal with that, he put Lost Bane away and sat back down at his desk. I am very sorry, teacher. I will not let it happen again. Bakugo got more angry, still wanting to fight, but realized that his opponent did not want to, so there was no point. He then just went right back to his desk and sat down. This isn't over, Hollow. The teacher just let out a very heavy sigh, wanting this day to be over. Anyway, I was looking over your results, and it looks like 3 of you in this classroom actually have the potential of going to UA High. Everyone started to look around the classroom, wondering who the 3 slots actually belonged to as they started whispering amongst each other. But there were actually 2 people who were just sitting there quietly, which was Izuku writing in his notebook and Blaze just staring out the window watching the sakura petals fall off the tree. As everything started to feel so peaceful for everyone on the last day of school, Bakugo decided to stand on top of his desk letting out small explosions. I don't know why all of you extras think that I'm not one of the people who got the slot already, because of course I'm going to be going to UA. I got the best test results out of everyone. The teacher then started typing on his laptop showing everyone the results of the test. It's very true, Bakugo, but you're not the one who had the best results. You actually ranked 3rd. Bakugo's eyes widened in disbelief of what he just heard as he started to let out explosions in pure rage. Who the hell did better than me? I'm supposed to be the best and no one should be close at all. The teacher then leaned over to his computer as he went to go figure out who actually had the next score. When he saw the results, he actually had a big smile on his face. Well, isn't this a surprise? Izuku actually ranked 2nd in the whole class and he's quirkless. Everyone in the classroom turned to look at him and just started laughing, thinking that it had to be some kind of mistake. All except for one person who actually started to stand up getting angry as he threw a set of 12 throwing knives right at the chalkboard, making the kanji for death. Everyone looked back from the board to see who threw it, seeing that it was actually Blaze, who was really ticked off and made everyone then go quiet. Why are you all laughing? Just because he doesn't have a quirk doesn't mean that he's useless. You should have respect for all of his hard work. Teacher then got annoyed, seeing that he's going to have to get a replacement chalkboard. Blaze, what did I tell you about throwing knives in the classroom? If it wasn't your last day here, I would already put you in detention. Besides, I was also expecting a lot more discipline from the person who actually scored a first seat in the class. Not only did you get a perfect score on the written exam, but all the physical tests that you took were at the maximum level of perfection. Blaze got annoyed hearing all this. Can you quit looking at my score scores and actually look at me. I didn't ask to be the first seat in this entire class. I just didn't want to go easy on anyone here. Bakugo started to get really angry as he felt his pride was just completely stepped on by a quirkless nobody and his greatest rival. Don't think that you're better than me, Hollow, just because you got a couple of stupid test results. Blaze just snapped his fingers as all the daggers in the chalkboard just disappeared as he takes a deep breath. I honestly don't care. If you want to go around telling everybody that you're the best, go ahead. I won't argue with you. I have nothing to prove to anybody here, especially you. Bakugo then turned around to look at Izuku. As for you, Deku, I don't want to see you anywhere near UA. If you show up, I will blast you to pieces. Izuku was completely nervous, trying his best not to fall out of his chair. Kachan, didn't you know that UA now allows people without quirks to try out? It's a new policy, but it means that I at least have a shot. Bakugo went over to Izuku and just slammed his hand right on his desk, making a massive explosion, destroying his notebook along with a little bit of his desk. Deku, you have been nothing your entire life, and you will continue to be nothing, so just stay out of my way and never go anywhere near UA. Izuku was on the ground trying to hold back his tears as he saw his notebook was destroyed. Nobody wanted to help him as the bell rang and they just ran out of the classroom. As Bakugo just grabbed his bag and left with his lackeys, Blaze then walked up to Izuku and gave him a hand up. Don't let him get in your way. You have a lot of potential to become something great. And there will always be haters and those who will want to push you down because they realize your greatness inside of you. So you need to stand up with your head up high. Izuku just looked at Blaze shocked, with his eyes wide open, not believing what he just heard. I guess it's easy for someone like you to say something like that, Blaze. You were blessed with a great power since birth. Blaze just hung his head in shame. My power comes from those before me, the heroes of the ancient. If it wasn't for their strength, I would be nothing. Izuku finally got off the ground as he grabbed his notebook and backpack. I don't know about that. Just because your power comes from history doesn't mean that you can't put your own style on it. I truly believe that you have the potential to become something amazing. You just have to believe in yourself, just like you try to tell everybody else around you. Blaze grabs his backpack as he starts heading out of the classroom, but stops in the doorway. I look forward to seeing you at the entrance exam for UA, Izuku, so don't disappoint me. Blaze walks out of the school gates thinking about what he should do today. He thought about just going straight home, but then he thought about maybe actually going around town and seeing what was going on. But then he remembered that there's going to be a new exhibit at the museum and just started heading that way. But along the way he started hearing this echoing voice in the distance. You call upon strength that is not your own. Maybe then you should ask me before you start using a power that you have no control over. Blaze then turned around to see no one around him as he looked up and down the street and saw nothing. Who was that, and how do they know that I wield a power that I can't control? The voice then echoed throughout the streets once more. You need to be more weary of the blade that you tried to use against that girl. If you were to use its power without control, it would cause a lot of trouble. You could have ended up killing everybody around you, or even yourself. But it also has the potential in the right hands to save everyone that you want. Remember that the dragon inside of that blade reigns over the frosted frozen sky, but only if you know how to call it out properly. Blaze looks around, seeing that time almost looks like it's frozen around him, as he notices somebody half his size in a kimono wearing a that was completely black with a white one draped right over it. Who are you, and how do you know so much? The small boy then just looks up at Blaze. So you're the one who can see throughout generations, along with those who have been put to rest into the afterlife. And to answer your question, my name is Toshiro Hitsugaya, the original wielder of the blade that you showed off earlier when you were about to have a battle of ice. Blaze took a step back, not believing his eyes or ears about what he just heard. But how is that possible? You've been dead for over 50 centuries. Toshiro had a blank look on his face like he wasn't going to give him any answers. All I can say, it has something to do with your power. I can't give you all the details, only the reason why I'm here. And that is because we both have a very strong historical connection because of your constant research on my blade. But I don't feel like this is the most appropriate time for us to be speaking. I should really be taking my leave. Blaze reached out and tried to grab Toshiro, only to have his hand go right through him and the young boy turned into a puff of smoke. How will I be able to get a hold of you again? What do I do to be able to get a hold of your power? Toshiro's voice echoed as time started to flow regularly, no longer in its slowed down state. When you truly feel like it's time for me to start showing you how to wield that sword and tell you its name, you will know when to call upon me. But something tells me that soon you'll be able to call upon its first name, not its full name. Blaze was still shocked about everything, but but then he was blown out of his daydream by a loud explosion that was going on down the street. He then rushed to it, not knowing what to expect, but what he saw shook him to his very core, as he saw entire buildings on fire with a gigantic slime monster all over the place, with it having a very tight grip on one of his classmates, watching the heroes just stand by, not doing anything. As Blaze made his way through the crowd, he was actually able to finally see which one of his classmates it was, figuring out it was Bakugo. Blaze was about to jump in and help Bakugo, but then he saw Izuku run right at the sludge villain, throwing his backpack right at its eyes, blinding him for a few seconds, trying to peel off the slime. The sludge villain then regained his sight as he was slamming down a tendril right on Izuku, but then Izuku just decided to get back up, still wanting to help Bakugo. "Tachan, I promise I'm going to save you." He then tried to tear off more of the sludge, only to be slammed back down to the ground. The sludge villain only just laughed, seeing that the boy was not able to actually do anything. "I would get out of here if I was you, boy. You're lucky that I don't need a host, or else you would be my next meat shield." Blaze then jumped in as he sliced away at the face of the sludge villain, only for it to be regenerated. You know, you talk about people being useless, but yet you're the one hiding behind the child meat shield. Blaze then places the sword back into its sheath, ready to release it in one full slash. "So I think you should stop talking, because I've heard enough out of you, monster." All of the citizens and heroes were standing there in surprise, watching two underage boys, without any training or fear of death, standing up to the sludge villain. It looked like a scene out of a legend. But then everyone started to realize that Bakugo was still suffocating underneath the sludge as he let out more explosions. Blaze then got into his final stance right in front of Izuku, ready to free Bakugo from the sludge monster. Izuku was feeling a major adrenaline high as he looked at everything around him moving in slow motion. What is this feeling? Blaze took a deep breath as he got ready for the final slash that was going to end this, as he brought the sword up to his side. So this is what it means by time slowing down when you're in the middle of battle. I guess it's time for me to finally show you what I can really do. As he says that, he starts to glow with a blue aura flowing throughout his entire body. "Now reign over the frosted frozen sky, Yurimaru!" As these words were spoken, a loud roar could be heard echoing out as a massive chill filled the entire area. As the blade was pulled from its sheath, a giant ice dragon shot out of it, completely covering the sludge villain and most of the buildings in ice and snow. Everybody finally regained themselves. They saw that this entire place went from a fiery inferno to a frigid blizzard, as the sludge villain was completely frozen solid, with Bakugo being completely okay, able to finally break out of it. The heroes and the citizens were completely baffled, not knowing what to say to these kids, as they just watched one of them completely change the weather. As the heroes finally composed themselves, they gathered up the remains of the sludge villain and got them into a freezer to keep them from falling out. The heroes then gave all three of them a big lecture about why they shouldn't be doing the things that they just did. When they were finally free to go, Blaze just walked away from everyone, not wanting to speak anymore. As he finally got like at least a block away, he was stopped by a large man who was trying to get his attention. "Have no fear, young man, because I am here to give you an opportunity of a lifetime." This figure turned out to be All Might with a signature grin in his muscular form. Blaze just stood there, actually not knowing what to expect from the symbol of peace. "Oh, hello there, All Might. What's this about an opportunity of a lifetime?" All Might had the biggest grin on his face, almost like he could shine light off of it. "I'm here to ask you to be my successor. I saw what you did out there, and I was very impressed, and I would like to actually train you to do better and inherit my power that's been passed down throughout the generations." Blaze just looked at All Might, disappointed to hear all this. "I'll pass. Don't get me wrong, I'm honored that you want to give me all this power, but my skills and techniques already come from the past. I'm trying to make my own name, my own story, and get out of the shadows of those who taught me." All Might was very disappointed to hear that. "Are you sure? Opportunities like this only come once in a lifetime. If you turn this down now, you might not get another chance like this." Blaze puts his hand to his chin and actually thinks about the situation, as he gets the idea that he can actually help two people out in this situation so he doesn't have to deal with it anymore. "To be honest, I don't want your help. I know somebody who is worthy, though, of inheriting whatever it is you are about to give me." All Might started to get more and more curious about what this young man had to say. "Oh really? Who do you think is worthy of such a gift and heroic honor?" Blaze just smiled, knowing they had the number one hero in the palm of his hands with just these words. "You should go talk to my friend Izuku. He's quirkless, but he has the motivation and drive to become a great hero. You should go talk to him." All Might was a little bit disappointed to hear that the kid was actually powerless. "Under what guarantee do you think that your friend is worthy of my power?" Blaze looked up at All Might with a devilish smile and a glint in his eye, because he was the first one to jump in with the battle of the sludge villain while all the heroes just stood there doing nothing. It was thanks to Izuku that I felt inspired to help out and do something against the sludge villain. All Might then flashed back to the incident that happened a few minutes ago, remembering the small boy who was actually fighting against the sludge villain before Blaze stepped in. I see now, thank you so much. I'm sorry that I wasted your time with this, but I will definitely take your advice and go talk to your friend. All Might then leaped into the sky trying to go find Izuku. Blaze just smiled, feeling like he actually did something really good today. He finally was able to walk with no interruptions all the way to the museum, happy to see the new exhibit. As he finally walks in the door, grabs a pamphlet, as he opens it to see where the new exhibit is, located in the back. He then closed the pamphlet and went right past the fossil exhibit, trying to get to the new one as soon as possible. He was then tapped on the shoulder. As he looked back to see, he saw his mother wearing her long black dress and white gloves, along with a pin on her right shoulder that said Museum Director, with her black hair up in a ponytail. Blaze got very nervous, thinking that his mother saw what happened. Hi there, Mom. I didn't expect to see you here today. I thought today was your day off. She just smiled at her son. I saw what you did on the news. Even though I'm not really supposed to support this kind of behavior, I'm proud of you. You did what you thought was right, and that's what a real hero does. Blaze just took a big sigh of relief, happy that his mother wasn't upset with him as he just smiled at her. Thanks. I think that was the first time I actually used the real power of Yurimaru, but I feel like I've only scratched the surface. She just pats her son on the head, trying to get him to calm down. My dear boy, you've always been so hard on yourself. You have power similar to that of legends. Of course you've only been able to scratch the surface. You're still young, you just need to take time to breathe and do the proper research on what you're doing. When the time is right, you'll finally be able to use your powers properly and use it to help people. But let's put all this aside. I want to actually know why you came to the museum today. He smiled as he just stepped back a little bit, getting out of his mother's reach. Thanks for all the advice, Mom, and to answer your question, I'm actually here to see the new Ryujin Jaka exhibit. But that's where I'm going to leave it off this time, guys. Please leave me your comments down below. I actually would love to hear from all of you. And please leave me some suggestions for weapons throughout anime and series that you actually love. But with all that said, I'm out, guys. Peace.